Hello and welcome to effectively sort of session 0, session 1 of a new Blades in the Dark game that we're setting up. This is going to start with character generation. I'm not running this, Bruce is. And so I shall hand over to Bruce to start to take us through character generation.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully we'll get through character generation. I guess it's going to take about an hour, maybe less, and then we'll get into our first score. Might have a 5-minute break while I pull together or weave together the threads that everybody's come up with. But we're going to go around character generation. We're just kind of setting the scene. We'll get that character generation. We'll go through character generation. I've sent a few bits and pieces through for people to look at the kind of order of things that we do character creation in. And we'll just go through it bit by bit. So we've had a little bit of a discussion about the playbooks that people want to play, your scoundrels. So you're going to play daring scoundrels who are going to make their fortunes in their way and make their reputations by daring heists and other shenanigans that we will get up to. There are 7 playbooks that you could choose from. So Andy, you were thinking about a cutter or a hound. Nick, you were thinking of a hound. Chris, a spider or a whisper. I'll just go through those. So cutter is basically a fighter. Hound is basically, well, for the want of a better word, I suppose, a ranger. The leeches are good at using alchemy and wrecking stuff with sabotage. So play a leech if you want to be creative with weird tools. The lurk is good at sneaking around and breaking into places. Play a lurk if you want to slink around in the shadows. A slides are good at social situations and subterfuge. Play a slide if you want to manipulate and deceive people. Spiders are good at masterminding maneuvers. So play a spider if you want to assist teammates and deal with other factions. And the whispers are good at magical stuff, dealing with ghosts. So if you want to meddle with arcane powers. So the fantasy elements of this specifically cover mostly ghosts, but there are demons, vampires, and a few other bits and pieces. Spirits, if they're not held back by the city electrified gates and walls, would enter the city. Most are malevolent and would occupy humans, take them over, which is a harrowing experience at best. Not all ghosts are like that, not all spirits are like that, but most are. So always having a whisper on the team is sometimes useful if you're ending up dealing with spirits. So Ian, do any of those take your fancy?
Initially I thought, well, most systems the easiest thing to play is a fighter, so I was looking at cutter.
I'm quite happy to change if you want to play
cutter. But I've got coming. I'm likely to play to type, and Andy will know this.
You're going to play Lurk, aren't you?
I'm going to go Lurk, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
You should all have your character sheets. You can start picking those playbooks, and they should give you the various. Once you pick the playbook type, in where it is on there.
I set this up.
It'll be in the upper right hand character, upper right hand corner, right under character mode. It'll say.
Yeah, you should be able to see a character sheet. We should be able to see all character sheets, I think, because they're set up.
They should all be open. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Can I just? I'm sticking with the cutter, but just for interest, because it's got 3 other ones in here: ghost, hull, and vampire. Ghost and vampire. What's a hull?
So don't worry about those too much. They are sort of either advanced parts of the game or sort of longer term games. Hulls are essentially when you've been taken over by a ghost.
Okay. Right. I don't want that. I don't play that. Okay, and I just type.
Yeah, those ones at the bottom. We know the vampire, the hull, and the ghost. We're not going to play. Okay. So when you pick your character, it's going to fill in a bunch of your attributes automatically, and then you're going to get to pick 4 a little bit later. So once everybody's chosen their playbook,
and you just type it in the box, don't you?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
And then when you
press it, it fills
everything in for you.
Yeah, it should do. If not, give me a shout if you're struggling with that.
It's all working for me.
So ultimately, one of the big questions that we want people to think about as they pick their playbook is, why did you become a scoundrel? So there's lots of people who work on farms, who work off indentured chain gangs, indentured service, prisoners, people get into trouble, people who just do ordinary jobs, right? The cleaners, the sweepers, people who work for the government, all those types of things. But we're not those type of characters. The characters that you're going to be playing today are daring scoundrels. So start to think and mull over why you have chosen that side of life, rather than say just, if you're a cutter, for example, why aren't you just a bouncer on the front of a club? Okay, why have you decided that actually you are going to do something which is going to be, it's like becoming an entrepreneur, really. In our kind of world, why would you do something that's difficult and hard? It might be to seek your fortune. It might be to protect your family. It might be to gain the respect. It might be because your mates are doing it and you're just joining in. But yeah, start thinking about why you might be a scoundrel, and I'll come back to that question and ask people as we go.
Is there a military?
There is the Imperial military. They are one of the most powerful factions in the game.
So a renegade member who's been kicked out, could that be a...
Absolutely. So why would you have been kicked out? Maybe you were caught. I mean, at the heart, all of you will be criminals, will have a sort of larcenistic kind of tendency. So could go down a simple route of stealing something or breaking the rules. It could be a little bit more subtle than that. Maybe you didn't get on with authority, and you were accused of stealing something and you never actually stole something. It doesn't have to be. Think about it, about what you might.
Maybe an officer had it out for you.
Yeah. Well, many of the institutions in Duskfall are corrupt. The inspectors, who are kind of, I suppose, like marshals, they're a little bit more like, I don't know, French investigators, I suppose, but they're investigators or quasitors in Ars Magica. But they are famously uncorrupted and uncorruptible, but probably the only people, and thus universally disliked. The city runs on corruption. Once you've got your playbook, people will need to choose a heritage. The heritage has no particular system impact. It's really for background flavor. And you've got a couple of choices. You can be Akarian. Well, Akaros is the largest and most industrialized land in the Imperium and is home to the capital city as well as Duskfall itself. So, a native Duskvalian would be from Akaros. If you wanted to play a rootless wanderer, you could be from the Dagger Isles. These are a set of islands a little further away and outside of the Empire. They're known as corsairs and merchants who live without lightning barriers. They deal with spirits in other ways. Iruvia, who are sort of equivalent to the old Persia, sort of Egypt, sort of India style, far to the south. It's probably best thinking of Akaros as sort of Northern European, for want of a better summary, somewhat like Europe. If you want to be from a place considered wild by the rest of the Empire, you could be from Severos. Severosi live in nomadic horse tribes, scattered across the blasted Deathlands, surviving within the ruins of ancient arcane fortresses. Or you could be from Skovlan, the island kingdom just across the sea. It was just recently brought under imperial rule after a 36-year war, and there's lots of refugees and and a few rebels who sort of chafe under the imperial rule. Could consider to be, I've always imagined them as sort of Viking-like or sort of wild Breton-like, but we don't have to go down that particular route. We can go down a different route.
They seem Scottish to me.
Yeah, it could be. And then Tykeros, a sort of semi-mythical place far beyond the northern void sea, and everyone says those people are part demon. If you choose a Tykerosi heritage, also create a demonic telltale that marks your character. Just a little hook there. Has no particular reference, but it just be what we're doing now from a this and a background point of view will be to build flavor within the character. Do you want to be a native Duskvalian who'll just sort of fit in, or part of some of the smaller enclaves within Duskfall.
Chris, what playbook did you go for in the end?
I am doing Spider.
You're doing Spider. Okay.
Nice.
That's a sort of mastermind, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the George Clooney from the Oceans franchise character.
Yeah.
Except first level. So
Except
don't
first
expect
level.
too much.
Look,
So
it's
to speak.
it's
We all-
Danny Ocean at
But
the
yes.
beginning of his career.
Yeah.
We all have to start somewhere.
Ocean's 1.
So you just fill in. You just type. You fill in the box. Okay, I'm going to be from Akaros. I'm going to be a local.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
I'm a Scovelander.
Nice.
Which was that?
I
Marginalised refugee.
Okay.
My parents
they've
came
just
to the
been-
city.
Yeah, they've just been unified. So there's a bunch of Scoveland
That's a nice view, yeah.
refugees in the
Yes.
city from the war.
So I would only arrived a few years ago, wouldn't I?
Yes.
too am a Scovlander.
Nice. Well, would you two like to? You have the same heritage, so do you want to be blood relatives?
Hmm. What do you think, Chris?
That makes things interesting.
We could be like cousins or something.
They could be brothers.
Brothers. Yeah, we could do that.
No, I don't mind. It's entirely up to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Hmm.
I mean, cousins has at least the advantage that you don't have to save him if he gets into trouble. He could be a disliked cousin on the wrong branch of the family.
No, I think it's an interesting idea. Let's lean into the chaos and say our characters are brothers. I'm
Yeah,
taking this. My name is currently Aldo Strangford.
You're the brains, and I'm kind of the muscle.
Yeah.
Strangford is a dangerous name in the Duskfall world.
Is that not? It's probably not very Scovelanderish either, is it?
No.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah,
I picked it up.
it's actually one of the main.
Okay.
I don't know.
I actually picked it up. I
Super
picked it up.
powerful dudes.
Picked it off the list of suggested names. So
Oh, nicely done.
Where's
I just picked it.
the list of suggested
not
names?
slightly at random. 56.
In the books, yeah, 56, yeah.
You pick the pick the surname then.
Okay. Let me take a look.
Ian,
But you
Ian,
could,
what,
if we think it's going to be Scottish, you could pick a Scottish name and take the muck off it.
Yeah.
So Douglas or Donald or or something like that, or a Highland name. We'll get AI to generate something for you.
Ian, where are you coming from?
Let me see.
I'm going to be from Akaros. Sorry, I'm going to be from
Yes.
Akaros.
Yes, good man.
Uh,
This foreign blood.
Here we go. Let's see. Let's go with Colburn.
Excellent. I like that.
Yeah. We'll be the
Especially given
Colburn brothers.
Especially given that Duskfall, is essentially an old coal mining
Mm-hmm.
town.
What was it? Sorry.
Colburn. Coleburn.
Got it. Excellent.
We're the Colburn brothers, the infamous Colburn brothers. Soon to be
Yeah,
That's what they're
infamous.
going for.
Yeah.
Not only a
Like it.
nickname.
I don't know about you, Ian, but I'm quite happy for them to be the famous ones who get the authorities after them. We can just earn the money on that and keep in the background.
You're the you're the two friends who like Scarper immediately as soon
I
as
don't
there's
know
even
I have no idea
No,
who
no.
those people are.
I'll store the goods for you. I'll store it.
So, either we can have an argument about who is the older brother and who is the younger brother, or you could be twins. Doesn't have
Just
to be identical.
older and younger in twins.
Let's just dice for
Yeah, but
it.
there could be an argument
No,
over it.
hold
right?
on. No,
Nobody
you
would-
can be the older brother.
Okay.
Well, no, because that's interesting. Because my character, being the spider, is nominally
Yeah,
kind
that
of
no, I like
leadership
that
role, but
subversion of the trope. Yeah.
that then puts you actually as the older brother, being nominally in control.
Yeah, well,
I like the
mean,
idea as well that-
I'm the protective older brother who I'm not dumb muscle, but I am more the muscle, and you are more the brains.
I feel you got your
I don't know
brains
that.
by having to manipulate your older brother to stop yourself from being beaten up. That's where you learn how to manipulate people. Cool.
So
Okay.
before we were talking about being brothers, the thought I had for why I turned to becoming a daring scoundrel was that we arrived in the city, surviving was difficult, and so
Sure.
we started. We had to turn to crime. We had to turn to a way of doing it, and one of the things we did was I made I'm quite always been quite good at getting on with people and understanding people. So I started to just get to know people around the city in the Scovelander community initially, but that spread into the criminal underworld as well. So I kind of tend to know a man or a woman who can know a man or a woman who can help with these things. That's my thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so as brothers,
Okay.
we solve people's problems. Their problems usually being that they don't have something that they want.
On the character sheet,
Or that they have too much of something.
Possibly, yes.
on the character sheet, it's got name and alias. Is name your actual real name, and alias is what you're generally called, I assume?
Yeah. So in this game with scoundrels, everybody has an alias. You know, a pet name, if you like, that you're known by on the street. Your street name. It may very well not have been chosen by you. It might have been given to you by other people, probably more than likely. The next thing we're going to look at is background. So background is where did you come from a background point of view. It could be academic, labor law, trade, military, noble, underworld. Again, it doesn't have any sort of system benefits, if you like, or systemic view, but it will add flavor to the character. So Andy, you were thinking of a military, coming from the military, then a military background would be the right way to go, or at least a way to think about it.
Yeah. And is that essentially what my parents were?
No, it's just where your pre-scoundrel background.
Scoundrel background, yeah. So I've picked military, yes.
What did they do before they joined the crew? And then once you pick that background, it's worth adding just something about a little bit of detail to that. So, for example, you might choose labourer and then choose Leviathan hunter sailor, a mutineer, or you might choose law and write former bluecoat. There's a couple of examples down here. So, for example, Ian, you've chose underworld. So, street urchin, gang member, a young thug, or an outcast who grew up on the streets. Yeah.
I was going to go sort of pickpocket beggar sort of type, classic.
Yeah. Perfect.
With military, what are the options that suggest the military?
An imperial or Scovelander soldier. So you could be from either side of the Unity War. But you mentioned imperial. You could be a mercenary, intelligence operative, a strategist, a training instructor. Or I think your idea of effectively a discharged grunt. You could be a sergeant. You could have been even an officer if you want.
No, I think I did a renegade officer when I played with Chris. So I'm gonna do something different this time. I think that's what my character was.
Yeah.
I think I picked the noble background, and he was a formal noble military officer, I think. But yeah, military imperial, ex-imperial.
So dishonorably discharged. Which actually, in this type of world, is really code for you didn't have enough money to bribe your officer from kicking you out.
Yeah.
There is an assumption that most people are on the take. It's how you grease the wheels of this world. All right, Chris, trade shipping agent. Fantastic.
I'm thinking that before I was a refugee, I was in this Scotland, which is an island, and I was intrigued. Yeah, I think I was trying to think it's a background that would have meant that I could have slid into the role that I'm in now fairly well. I think somebody who was responsible for cultivating contacts for a mercantile organisation fits that fairly well.
Like it.
Yeah,
Matter of
and
interest.
oh,
Sorry.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish up.
No, I was going to move on to the next step actually. So you go.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay, so I have chosen military, and I am a Skovlin sharpshooter. The idea being that I deserted from the military towards the end after I realized I was on the losing side, and then helped my brother, and my brother like got us smuggled into the city.
You could have been, for example, posted to the same ship. You could have been a Skovlin Marine, let's say.
Yeah, I
They
could
don't
have been a
exist, but
Skovlin Marine.
yeah, on the ship, on the
something
same
like
ship. Maybe there was a mutiny. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe you surrendered, and maybe you didn't like the idea of surrender. Maybe the captain surrendered to an Imperial warship, or maybe you mutinied. Yeah, think about between the two of you about maybe a little bit about what happened there to that ship. Maybe it sank. Maybe it was attacked by a sea creature. Maybe it was impounded for smuggling. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But a Skovland Marine, yes, I like that. An Imperial, dishonorably discharged Imperial military officer and a Skovland Marine could get on like a house on fire.
Not an officer.
Not an officer, okay. A grunt.
We have military ranks. You've talked about sergeants. I don't know whether it exists. I'm gonna add a corporal. So
Yeah, that's fine. I only mentioned that. I mean, there are no defined military ranks, and we can make up whatever we want. Seems like a good idea, corporal.
Yeah, I was a former Skovlin field marshal and was the commander-in-chief of the Skovlin. I've fallen very far.
Well, that would have a lot of opportunity.
I was thrown out for incompetence.
Dear God.
No.
You
what a merry band. Yeah, he tripped and his rifle discharged, or he tripped and his knife fell directly into the officer's chest 16 times.
Okay, the next
total accident.
The next step is to assign 4 action dots, attributes. So you've got your little dots on the right-hand side in red, which will be the ones that have been given to you.
Yep.
And then we're going to assign another 4. So 3 would have been chosen by the playbook. And then what you're going to do is add one that you think is most relevant for your heritage, add one which you think is most relevant for your background, and then 2 just whatever you want.
Question for you. What would bargaining come under?
Sway, isn't it?
Yes. So it does
checking.
depend on how you approach the bargaining.
Of course.
So if you're bargaining at the end of a blade, then it's different from, say, smooth talking somebody.
Okay. Sway it is. Thank you.
Cool.
I used to be such a nice guy.
What's the wreck skill? Is that literally smashing things up, or is that blowing things up with explosives, or both?
You can actually hover over the skill on the character sheet, and it'll give you a little tooltip that gives you a short description.
Oh, sweet! That's good because I was scrabbling to find the handy summary.
I figured that out earlier when I was dabbling around with everything.
That's very handy. There is a summary somewhere.
I assume you don't have to have one in each of the insight powers to resolve. You just put them where you want.
No, put them where you want. We'll sort out what that means. You'll find out what those sort of insight, prowess, and resolve mean, later on.
Of this 4, can we put 2 into the same one, or is it 4 different ones?
No, you can do whatever you like.
Okay.
That's dots assigned.
There is a benefit to spreading out because the way that you do your resistance checks, so resisting various consequences, is the number of dots that you have in that first column on the left. So your insight, for example, Andy, let's have a look at your character. Where are you? Andy, your insight, for example, has got nothing filled in. Your prowess is 2 because it only counts the first column.
Yeah, gotcha.
So spreading yourself thin means your resistance gets potentially better, but obviously you're not as good in one particular area as you are. So by the time you finish, you should have 7 dots. 3 from your playbook, 1 from your heritage, 1 from your background, and 2 just assigned randomly.
Right. If I was in the Imperial military,
Yeah.
would I be using melee weapons, firearms, both?
Yeah, both. Again, we can define that, but I think my assumption is if you look at a Victorian redcoat or a European soldier, then you can probably do either. Were you on the infantry? Were you cavalry, artillery?
Okay.
Also, keep in mind
Quartermaster
that
logistics.
you can't have
Yep.
more than 2, I think is the limit that you can have,
Yeah.
as high as you can go. Yeah.
And so, am I right that generally hunt is used for firearms and skirmish is used
Yes.
for melee weapons?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Finesse is also used for melee weapons to a certain extent as well. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. I'm thinking prowl. Prowl is for backstabbing stealthily. So, something to consider.
Yep. Hunting is very much as you might expect. Hunting. You could bring your guns to bear in a melee, but skirmishing might be better. Skirmishing, so that will determine your position and your kind of effect, the particular skills that you choose to use. Skirmishing is when you entangle a target in close combat, so they can't easily escape. You might brawl or wrestle with them. You might hack and slash. You might seize and hold a position in battle. You might try and fight a formal duel, but finesse might be better for that.
Okay.
So they're not actions, they're not skills, they're more outcome based.
So what's a tune go towards?
You open your mind to the ghost field or other
Oh.
arcane power. You might communicate with a ghost or understand aspects of spectrology. You could try to perceive beyond sight in order to better understand your situation. But surveying might be better in that case.
Bruce, you might want to give the guys some of the detail about just how many ghosts there are in and around Duskfall.
Yes. So there's really 2 ways of looking at it. Inside Duskfall itself is probably not too bad. Every time somebody dies, their ghost will rise from their body and potentially cause a problem. So there is a whole government branch dedicated to collecting bodies and burning them using electroplasm, which ensures that their sort of ghostly effect is dispersed. Outside of the walls, you hear all sorts of stories. Whether there are literally armies of ghosts throwing themselves up against the wall of the city, or whether it's relatively sparse and they're kind of drifting around. Unless you've actually been to the walls and had a look, or you've been outside, you probably don't know, and we can leave that up to our own thoughts. But broadly speaking, the barren wastelands outside of the city are known as the Deathlands, so it can't be great.
0 out of 10 would not recommend.
Yeah, there are, as I said, there are different types of ghosts. Some are most will rise malignant, but there are lots of rumors about ghosts that have occupied people in a more symbiotic relationship rather than, say, causing complete terror and driving their hosts insane. There are spirit wells that are sort of concentrations where ghosts tend to gather. And many of the factions inside Duskfall do revolve around spirits and ghosts, either pro or against, or as you may like. I mean, looking from the character group, I don't think we have anybody that is particularly involved in that side of things.
Yeah, we have to. Our group has to outsource our weirdness.
But it's just something that it is a background inside Duskfall, and it will appear, but it just won't be a primary part of the story unless we decide to make it that. It's just a stylistic choice. Okay, so we've assigned all our action dots.
Just out of interest, are we getting any more dots at all in character creation?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope. Yeah, you're limited to 2. I had forgotten that at the start of the game. No action rating may
And a
have more
total
than
of
2
7.
dots, and you should have a total of 7.
Mhm.
The next thing will be a special ability. So there are some recommendations which come with various builds. So, for example, there are various build combinations. I don't think they're on the character sheet, but in the rules, there are basically sort of starting builds. So, for example, for the cutter, there's a captain, command +1, study +1, survey +2, with the leader special ability, or a thug, or a terror, or a devil hunter. So, are they in the character sheets?
They're underneath, so on the left-hand side. You just scroll down.
I've got, as a cutter, I've got Battleborn, Bodyguard, Ghostfighter,
Okay.
Leader.
So there's kind of like builds inside the rules which kind of give you like we would advise you take these actions and these special abilities together. So, for example, Ian, let's have a quick look at your character.
There's also, if you're not necessarily following those builds, but you're not sure what special ability you take, the rulebook did recommend you just take the first one on the list. That's the reason that they made it the first one on the list, because it's just kind of the most generally applicable of your special abilities.
Cool. So, Ian, you've gone for a Lurk, for example, and what that might suggest is starting builds. If you want some guidance when you assign your 4 action dots and special ability, use one of these templates. You could be an acrobat, an assassin, a burglar, or a daring rogue. For example, the daring rogue, it's recommended that you take skirmish +2 and consort +2. Seems fair enough. And then the daredevil special ability. But just read it and pick it. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you've got a good lump there. Good set of choices. Solid prowl. You get for free anyway. I would probably advise you put one more of your actions up to a 2. I think having 2 2s is probably good. It means you're sort of good at 2 things, and it's saying something about your character, but you don't have to. It's just
Okay, another thing.
It's a bit more definitive, like you're deciding to go down a certain
Yeah.
path, which might make it a little easier later on.
Actually, got to have finesse because that's pickpocketing. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, perfect. Same advice for you, Andy. Yeah, perfect. You've got 2. Chris, you've spread yourself out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've still got 2 action points, Chris?
Yeah, no, I'm just rethinking it based on these. What I'm seeing here.
And Nick, you've gone for finesse and hound and hunt. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, for the hound, you were what were you type of sort of hound were you going for?
Well, finesse I felt would be good for concealing my pistols should I ever need to sneak a firearm into a situation.
Oh, a bribe would do more than. Yeah, it's always the way to do that. But yes. So you're a bounty hunter or a sniper or a veteran or a thief taker? What are you? Are you a military, Scovian, Marine? Yeah. I like it. I definitely think that you should have skirmish. Skirmish is fighting.
Okay. Good idea.
I'd probably choose skirmish over finesse, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right. Especially since we have a finesse guy.
Yeah.
So, yep, I will put those in skirmish instead.
I like that. You've got hunt and skirmish. That makes you an excellent Hound. And then Andy's character has got Hunt and Skirmish. So actually, you may want to split yourself, or you may want to stick with that and see how it goes.
Okay, I'll put 2. Okay, I'm going to put my
Oh, so
2
interestingly,
in
they
command.
talk about they talk about a bounty hunter having consort +1, prowl +1, and skirmish +2. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I'm thinking I'll put 2 in command, primarily for intimidation purposes.
Nice.
Since I'm kind of the like enforcer for my brother, and 1 in consort, and then 1 in prowl.
Excellent. All right. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's just going to be a one-off to get a sort of sense for the rules and have a bit of fun along the way. All right. So we've done the easy bits. So now, getting a little bit more difficult, choose 1 close friend and 1 rival, or a deadly friend and rival. So each, do they do it on the character sheets? That's the question. I hope so. That would be nice if they have.
They do, yes.
Oh, sweet.
It's right under. Yep.
Cool. Where are they? Oh, dangerous friends. Okay, yeah. So you can put a little up or a down arrow by various people. Again, there's no system advantage to that. They are literally made up. So in the case of Ian, for example, down in the bottom right, you are a Lurk. You've got Telda, a beggar, perhaps a mentor who taught you your skills, or perhaps a rival sneak thief. So really, there's no... it's up to you what we're going to make of that individual and why you might be an enemy or a friend of that particular person. Frake, for example, a locksmith, perhaps an expert that you go to for consultations, or perhaps a master who creates locks to defeat you. Or perhaps somebody that you are constantly breaking their locks as you break in. Maybe you are now known as an expert. Frake locks are now no barrier to anybody. You are known as the person that gets past even a master Frake lock. And he dislikes you intensely for this. There's a bit of rivalry there.
Now I'm just imagining the like scene from like a lot of older heist movies with the safe. Oh yes, a Frake S9200. See, the funny thing about the 9200 series is that the tumblers are a bit loose. All you have to do is.
So think about that one, Ian. I mean, what's your relationship with Frake going to be? Did he in fact teach you for a while and you ran away, or is he?
No, I think it's the other way around. I think there's that sort of hate relationship. The fact that he built a special lock that was supposed to be, sort of thief proof, and I managed to, more luck than judgment probably, bypass it.
So you found that special knack of getting past his locks, and he doesn't like that at all. Better nip that type of entrepreneurial spirit in the bud before it gets out into the wild. Otherwise, his good name and trade will be ruined.
How many of these dangerous friends should we pick?
Just 1 of each.
Yeah. So put you have the up arrow on 1, which is who like a friend or an ostensibly positive or beneficial relationship.
Okay.
So if you expand those, there's some notes there. So start to fill in the notes with any details that you might want to add about that.
And I can change the name. That's interesting.
Yep. Oh, Chris, you're going for a tune.
I'm thinking of going. I'm thinking of going a bit weird.
Yeah.
I'll just change my special ability as well.
Ah, right.
So whilst
well,
I'm not, I was thinking of playing either a spider or a whisper. Well, now I'm playing a spider who's leaning a bit towards being a whisper.
Nice. Yeah, well, again, I think the playbooks are very loose. They're just shortcuts. They're not the be-all or the end-all. You're effectively multi-classing.
Well, you really can't you? You can take veteran and then take a different class. I mean, I like foresight or mastermind, but I think Ghost Contract gives me just makes a bit different. Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Yes. Right. We're going to pick a vice, and then you're going to have name and alias and a look and all that type of jazz. And then we're going to go around the table and sort of introduce our characters, at least very briefly, probably more from a system point of view. And then we're going to, during the game, when we get started, we will do a little bit more of a narrative introduction. So, yes, a vice. So vice, Ian, is serves multiple purposes. It has a system purpose in so much as stress is the main scarce resource in the game that you use for everything. You can push your luck with stress. You can resist consequences that you don't like by burning stress. Stress is a kind of bit more, it's like a Benny that you can do various things within the game, but a little bit less powerful than your average Benny and a bit more plentiful. At the end of, in between game sort of scores or heists or jobs or whatever we want to call them, you will indulge your vice to relieve your stress. But it also has quite a big impact on your character. All of your characters are flawed in some way, shape, or form. And I think the vice is one more obvious sort of flaw that's built into the system. There will be others, and you should choose others as we go and kind of round your character out. But a vice is both something how you relieve your stress, but it is also something that is, not a great thing to have. Something that you have to indulge in. So on your character sheet, there will be a section for your vice. You have faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, or the weird. Now, faith, you're dedicated to an unseen power, a forgotten god, an ancestor, but this is a vice. It's not something that is like a good thing that you indulge in order to relieve stress. It comes at a potential cost during the game. You have very little control over it. Something that you have to do. Every scoundrel is in thrall to some vice or another, which they indulge to deal with stress. And a description to go with it, please. So, for example, you might choose gambling and then write Spog's Dice Game, Crow's Foot. You could create a vice purveyor or ask the GM to tell you about a couple likely options for your vice, and there's a big list of them in the book. So once you've chosen that, we will detail who your vice purveyor is. So faith is, as I said, unseen power, forgotten god, ancestor. There are sort of devils and demons in this game as well, ancient forgotten gods. It could be an ancestor, which potentially more than likely could actually be a spirit, which in itself would be an issue. Gambling, I think that's fairly obvious. It could be games of chance, betting on sport events, that type of thing. Luxury is just expensive or ostentatious displays of opulence for no good reason other than it relieves your stress. You could have an obligation to a family, a cause, an organization, or a charity. Pleasure, so any of the potential gratifications from lovers, food, drink, drugs, art, theatre. A stupor, you seek oblivion in the abuse of drugs, drinking to excess, getting beaten to a pulp in the fighting pits, etc. Or the weird, you experiment with strange essences, consort with rogue spirits, observe bizarre rituals or taboos. So it is worth saying that we'll play this game as an open game, by which I mean the players will have access to everybody else's backgrounds and character sheets. Your characters may not know those details, but it's much more interesting for the players to know so they can get those characters into trouble. Help those players get their characters into trouble. No hidden backgrounds. Hidden backgrounds.
Grabs
boring.
Ian's character, firmly throws under bus. No. The sneaky git did it.
Oh, look.
All right, so
Sorry, just you talked about the fighting pits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that bare knuckle boxing or much worse than that?
Whatever you want it to be.
could be anything. Yeah, whatever you want it to be.
So I don't know if you look right. So I'm thinking about making my character so to earn a living. He's now becoming a scoundrel, but initially after being dishonorably discharged from the Imperial military, he's been participating in bare knuckle boxing fights, and so I've given him a dangerous friend who's a rival, and a sawtooth who needs a proper name.
Yep. Well, Sawtooth may very well be his nickname, but yes, we can give him a proper nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bare knuckle fighting would be either a pleasure, so you relieve stress. For example, you might either like being beaten up, or you might like to beat up other people, or it could be a stupor. So you like the fact that you're knocked out by the end of the night and can't think straight.
No, sorry. This is not a vice. This is just
Oh.
me thinking. Sorry, my vice is going to be gambling.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah, because I gamble on other bouts now, and then.
Yep.
But I also participate at points, possibly gambling.
So it
myself.
could be bare knuckle fighting. It could be something more exotic if you wanted to.
Yeah. I gamble on everything.
No, I mean you're talking about what you did after you were discharged from military. Bare knuckle fighting is fine, but don't limit yourself necessarily to the mundane. It could be anything. You could be fighting giant centipedes in a pit. But yeah, bare knuckle fighting is also perfectly reasonable. We do want to get into the game. I just don't want anybody to think that they're limited to. There is a fantasy element to this game as well.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Embrace it where you wish.
Yeah.
Okay, has everybody got a? So you've got gambling. So after that, talk about what type of gambling. What's your specific love from a gambling point of view?
Okay.
Is it dice? Is it sports events?
He likes them horses. the ghost horse racing track. No, I picked for my vice gambling and poker at the Drunken Parrot pub.
Like it.
Well, I have some insight into the world of the dead and the ghost, and so when I'm trying to unwind, I go down to one of the cemeteries, which is my provider. We'll have to work out which cemetery, and then talk to the ghosts about their history, about themselves.
Check with your local ghost provider.
Yeah. Is that all right?
Your GSP,
Yeah, absolutely.
Your ghost service provider.
Is there right? I haven't looked at the map much. Is there a particular something like a sporting track, or you talked about sort of fighting pits and stuff like that. Is there a particular location somewhere?
No, not defined, but we can
Okay.
make
No,
we
so
can
to
make
make it up.
many.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a couple of the examples that for gambling that are given. There's a casino, a boxing. There is Master Vreen, Hound Racing and Night Market. And Sergeant Velk runs the fighting pits in Dunslow. But you can make anything up you like.
Yeah, because I completely fabricated the whole Drunken Parrot pub.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that poker is regularly played there.
Yeah, I was going to go for gambling, but there's too many gamblers in this group already. If obligation,
I think,
sorry.
Nick, that the type of poker that you should play should be something specific, like
Okay.
Akarosian dagger poker or
Okay.
Scoveland blade poker or something like that, just to add a bit of spice to it.
Let me look through. I can come up with something.
Good man. Yeah, sorry.
As an avid card player in real life.
What was your question, Ian? Sorry.
Obligation is, he could be looking after his crippled mother, or is that, or does it have to be mechanically?
Yes. No, not at all. I mean, it certainly could be, but it should be something that relieves his stress. So
not adding to it.
Not adding to it. But for example, spending time with your family, helping your mother around the house is perfectly reasonable obligation.
Mm-hmm.
You could also be working at the Sisters of Blind IO soup kitchen down in Dunslow.
Indeed.
Sorry, that was a Terry Pratchett reference. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And it would be kind of funny to run Blades in the Dark in Ankh-Morpork.
Well, one of my friends has actually run some. We've done that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's quite fun. Good fun.
That could be really hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Because you've got all the various kind of factions within the city, and you've got a lot of good skeleton, of kind of interesting. It's an interesting place in many ways. Has a lot of sort of seedy nature of everybody being on the take is very similar.
The type of poker I have decided is Eruvian 5-card.
Okay, Eruvian 5-card. Is everybody done? Has anybody got any questions? Anybody unhappy with what they've come up with?
I've lent a bit into the spirit side of it. I'm not sure I should have done. But
really, from a system point of view, there's no real min-maxing right or wrong choices per se.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's good you were thinking about. I think you should indulge your initial thought of you weren't quite sure between a Lurk, between a Whisperer and a Spider. I think that's good.
Can we?
So you've gone for foresight 2 times per score. You can assist a teammate. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of going for the ghost contract, but that seems very I'm not quite sure how much I'd use it. So I thought I'd go for the foresight because that seems like a good general thing that I can bring in that illustrates what the character is supposed to be about, having thought of things ahead of time.
Sure, but we can lean into that and tinge that foresight with definitely sort of ghost or ghost field. So you can maybe you can imagine the camera and the special effects department figuring out how they would kind of show this on the screen. So does that foresight sort of appear as like little ghostly shapes of things that are about to happen, or do sort of ghosts or shadows within the sort of ghosts or spirits within the area kind of help you a little bit along the way, or help your friends? We'll see. Definitely think about it. All right. Is everybody in a good place? Yeah.
Can we just make up monsters as such?
There are.
I've created a pub called the Chimera's Head.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Yep,
no problem
okay.
at all. Whether chimeras actually exist or not in real life there are. It's up to us how sort of deep we want to go into that fantasy element side of things. They generally avoid the monsters and tend towards the more like ghosts and spirits and things like that. But honestly, the sort of Deathlands and the Ashlands outside of the city are subject to all sorts of strange miasmas and poisonous clouds, and so yeah, anything could be out there. But certainly, you've also got access to all what the Victorians and pre-Victorians in pageantry were making up monsters left, right, and centre that never existed anyway.
Yep. So it could well just be from a story. That's fine. Yeah.
Or it could be real. Who knows?
I've gone for the special ability of Mule, which gives me carrying a lot more gear.
Yep.
That just seemed quite a sensible option.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. It's a very sensible option. Whether it's the most interesting option for you during gameplay will be a different question.
I think I'll stick with it.
But there's no, there's nothing to say that.
We get a drink.
Yeah, we will break. I've got to get a drink anyway. I've got to.
Okay. One question: are you planning on doing crew creation as well?
I think we're going to skip crew creation. It's not strictly necessary to get started, and would slow things down a little bit. It would add another bit of time. What we do need to think about, and actually the book recommends that you don't bother with the crew if you're just going to do a one-off or a kind of short game. So what we'll start with is a nascent set of street thugs or people that have come together for a reason that we'll figure out in a second, and you're just beginning to work your way towards becoming a crew. So we'll see where the game takes us and what style of game you prefer. And then if we were going to play for, say, another session or two, we might create a crew and build up some of that information. We may even decide that this first session is about building a reputation and maybe getting a lair or some sort of starting place that you can, a bit of turf that you could call your own.
As a connection, Nick, you made up a pub name, did you?
Yeah.
What was your pub name?
The Drunken Parrot.
Right, I'm just going to go grab a drink. Feel free to go and grab yourself a drink. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes making myself a hot drink.
Okay, I'm going to pause the recording.
And
we're back recording. Nick and I were discussing something quickly while we were having a break. How about the fact how we know each other is that we all hang out in this Drunken Parrot pub.
Yep. Sounds good.
So I've said there's a fighting pit in the basement of it, which is where I do some gambling. Nick's got this. That's where he goes to play cards. So there's all that going on as well. And then Ian, that's just your character just sort of drinks there, or maybe it's your local or something. I don't know.
I wish we had a local here in real life. This county used to be a dry county during Prohibition era and didn't stop being a dry county until 1970. So there are no bars here. There are no pubs. There are places that serve alcohol here, but they're not bars or pubs.
A brief stint living in a place called Letchworth Garden City, which was sort of similar. There's a town, medium-sized town. I think it had 3 pubs in it because it was built as a new town when obviously the evils of drink was frowned upon. So.
Did you used to live there, you said?
When I was at college, yeah. When I was at Hatfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I lived in Grayling, which is where I went to high school, and they have lots of microbreweries there. They've got 3 microbreweries, and then they've got another 2 pubs and 1 dive bar. And that's not a big town either. It's about the size of the town that I currently live in, which is not big. It's a small town, but they just had 3 microbreweries. I used to go to the Dead Bear Brewery was my preferred.
Okay, so let's quickly go round and summarise very, very quickly what we've got in terms of characters so that everybody is familiar with what's going on. I think everybody should have access to the character sheets so they can pull those up as we go as well. So why don't we just go down the running list and start with Andy and go down the list that he created.
So my character's called Obadiah Halliston, but he's known as Kincaid, which appears to be the name of his sort of name is adopted of a comrade who died in the military.
Okay.
He's from, sorry, he was in the he's an Acarosian, and he's a dishonorably discharged lance corporal from the Imperial Military. I'm actually thinking about changing that to just honorably discharged. That he's just X, and rather than kicked out. Yeah, I think
Yeah, we'd have to decide why he left.
uh,
Because of the accident,
sorry.
or his friend. If his friend was killed, you know,
No,
did
friend
he
was killed
decide?
fighting. In
Oh yeah,
so actually, I'm going to say so. He's fought in the war. So correct me if I'm wrong on history. So the country that Chris and Nick's characters come from has been conquered by
Governors.
the Imperials recently.
Yep.
Yes.
In the Unity War, 36 years ago.
36 years ago. I'm not that old.
Sorry, no, sorry. It lasted for 36 years, but has only recently ended. Let me find out exactly when it did. I don't think it's that long ago, but it lasted for
Okay.
36 years. I'm sorry.
So possibly I fought in it. Wasn't very impressed with how the Imperial military conducted itself, and that's
Yep.
why I've left, because how it conducted itself
Okay.
resulted in the death of my friend.
The war finished 2 years ago.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That works. And so I actually, so Nick and Chris, you was it Sargosian or something?
Scovlin.
Scovlin. So I sort of I feel sympathy towards the Scovlins for what was done to them, even though I was a participant, and that's why I've left the military. Okay.
Excellent.
I spent a lot of time gambling on events in a fighting pit in the basement of the Drunken Parrot pub, which I'm suggesting is the place we sort of all know each other. I'm sort of my two main skills are hunt and skirmish. I'm very combat focused, and I'm also I've taken the mule special ability. I seem to be able to carry quite a lot of things. I think sort of look wise, I'm going to be wearing a big long coat, and I need to look up. There's a name for the Victorian style of long coat. I can't remember what it is. I need to look it up. But I'll be wearing sort of that sort of big, heavy coat.
Great coat, or
Okay, yeah, that's what I
Great coat. Yeah. And
Yeah, that's what soldiers were issued with.
yeah. So great. And I sometimes earn a bit of an extra living. Well, when I left the military, I doing odd jobs, and then got into the bare knuckle boxing circuit, and have fought at the Drunken Parrot pub. So I've got a bit of a flattened nose and a bit. I don't see him as a particularly handsome chap. A bit sort of battered face from too many fights.
all right.
Oh, sorry. Do you want just my danger? So I've got a rival who's Marley, who's another pugilist, and
Yep.
I have a friend who's a woman called Lily, who's a sawtooth, who's Lily the sawtooth, who is a physica,
All right.
and she has stitched me up multiple times.
All right. So she stitched you up multiple times and may even have repaired some of your wounds. Boom, boom. Okay, you gamble, often at the fighting pit, okay, in the basement. So yeah, you are very much into that sort of pugilistic lifestyle. I can see you at the edge of a fighting pit. Are you the type of person when he's gambling on these things that is really into the fight and
yes.
you know, absolutely like in the grip of it, or very calm and collected? And
No, I've been when I lose bets, I've been known to throw other people into the ring.
oh, so you're basically a Wookiee. You're a Wookiee. Okay, so even if you're not hairy, you're still hairy. Okay, good.
I'm actually
Hairy
got
on the
a bit of
inside.
short cropped hair, but yeah. But actually, I think short cropped hair, but a really bushy beard.
I was gonna
What
say
about
like
the moustache?
magnificent sideburns, like Civil War era sideburns.
Mm,
Handlebar moustache.
yeah, absolutely. Big
No, it's big bushy beard, I think.
Okay.
mutton chops. Okay, cool. Right, big bushy beard, like that. Okay, write that up on your look as well.
I am.
Awesome. All right, anything else that's relevant? I think that's good. I think that's really good. Chris.
I am introducing Aldo Colburn, known as Shifty. He is a relatively slight guy, quite tall but slender, with red hair and pale skin. He presents himself wearing a bowler hat, waistcoat, and long scarf. He's Scotlander. And speaking for myself and my brother, and you're going to have to contradict me, Nick, if you think this is, we were briefly discussing this earlier, but I'm not sure we made it to a conclusion, is we came to the city a couple of years ago because the ship we were on was impounded at the end of the war, and we just happened to be on it. And so it was dragged here, and we've just never got round to leaving. So we're two of them.
That was what I was gonna go with. So perfect.
Okay. That's we're two of the many Scotland refugees here, and we've been trying to make a life for ourselves. I myself am the kind of person who knows people. I try and work contacts and work with people to find opportunities and make those opportunities happen. Yeah, I'm quite good at anticipating things. I'm quite interested in history, always have been, and particularly now I'm in a new city. I always interested in finding out what's been going on, and so I'm friends with Jaron, who is an archivist over with the Bluecoats. Unfortunately, however, I've also managed to come onto the wrong side of Salia, who is an information broker, because in the course of my networking, I've managed to tread on her toes several times. I didn't mean to; it just kind of naturally happened. We seem to just occupy the same niche. Yeah, I think that's oh yeah. When stressed, I disappear off and am inclined to go with a bottle of fine whiskey. I do drink quite heavily, and I head to the electric walls of the city, and usually down by what's the area called? Down by the Mire in Dunslow, and sit just inside the electric fences and talk to the ghosts. And you've noticed, my brother has noticed, who I don't actually know his first name yet, has noticed I've taken a predilection for the supernatural and the ghosts since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the question for Nick's character is, as his brother, how does he view that? Is it an unhealthy obsession with spirits and ghosts, or is it something that he might encourage as being useful within this strange world? Is he proud of his brother for kind of developing those kind of skills, or is he terrified that he might be sucked into unwholesome activities?
I'd view it as more of a to each their own sort of thing. Kind of more middling, like not ambivalent. Like I'm not like completely like ambivalent to that, but it's kind of a general positivity. I'm glad he's found a way to like blow off some steam, kind of thing. You know. Everyone's
So, yeah.
got to have a way to do that. Glad he's found his.
Do invariably do that in the company of a fine bottle of whiskey. So I do spend some of my money on the whiskey that I take with me. Or yeah, I'm a lover of fine whiskey.
Nice. So a lover of spirits in all their shapes and sizes, physical and immaterial.
Yeah. Spirits in every meaning of the word.
I like it. I like it. Okay.
Does not discriminate when it comes to spirits.
Oh yeah, but what type of whiskey? I mean, particularly fine whiskies, it will be all
Yeah,
determined
okay.
by the mushroom base.
Only a certain way.
The mushroom base. Okay, brilliant.
Daggerards produces the finest whiskey in my opinion.
Okay.
But the local stuff isn't so good.
That's fair
You
enough.
also-
Yeah, all
you
the
also
local
get
stuff is made from the finest eels.
Essence of eel.
Yeah, fishy.
Eel liqueur.
Yes.
And I'd take Scotland whiskey if I could get it, but
Oh,
not so
yes, of
much
course.
around
We've linked
these
that.
days.
We've linked that
Yeah.
sort of Scottish side of things. Yeah.
Scotland whiskey is a bit hard to come by these days. All right.
Okay, Ian.
Okay. Yeah, my character's name's Adric Dunville. His Akros heritage. It's actually the son of a one of the ladies of the night from the red light district.
Yes. That's the Silk Shore.
That's I couldn't remember what it was. Yeah. He's a short, scrawny, scruffy-looking character with a permanent frown on his face. His alias is ironically Smiler. Although those who know him may think that frown is a bit of an act. As are his clothes. He can afford better clothing, but he wears those for the scenes, sort of thing. Background is born out of the underworld. Started off begging, moved to crew lookout for some of the other sort of pickpocket crews, and then moved into pickpockets himself as he got a bit older. We haven't really mentioned age of these characters, but he's quite young. He's come to this life of crime quite early. In terms of stress, he's obligated to help his crippled mother. She was crippled by a client who got a bit rough, bit within an inch of her life, and now she obviously needs someone to look after her. She can't sort of go back to her old trade. In terms of friends, Telda is a beggar who showed him the ropes in terms of that lower end of the criminal networks. Showed him sort of begging best places to go. Showed him the best limps and way to draw sympathy. Probably the link with the drunken parrot is probably her favourite place to ply her trade. And on that basis, Adric actually spends a bit of time in the place. She also keeps her ear to the ground. Any sort of bad news coming his way, she tries to give him a bit of warning. His nemesis is a locksmith called Frake, who he takes great delight in finding those particular locks and helping crews into premises that are guarded by them. It's almost
I like the idea.
It's almost a draw to a particular heist. May be the fact that it requires someone to pick a Frake lock.
I like the idea that Frake is just sitting in his locksmithy, going, "I can't keep getting away with this. This lock will be unbreakable."
Yeah, I mean, also Frake doesn't have to be on his own. I mean, he could have, for example, recently started a corporation, selling his high quality locks, and yet everywhere that he sells to seems to be raided on a fairly regular basis. Locks discarded on the side. Poor old Frake. All he was trying to do was make an honest living.
This is a Frake standard padlock. It can be opened with another Frake standard padlock.
The Adric actually ties a silk bow, pink silk bow, round
Oh.
the hasp of any locks that he breaks, just to
Oh, I love it. I love it.
as a signature
That's great.
to break.
So you
That's
open
really
them and then
good.
you take the piss.
Yeah.
Love it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You've chosen to fuck with this one lockmaker in particular, just to make his life miserable. I love it. It's fantastic.
Well, I mean, and also, if you get a talent for breaking locks, then it's useful to.
If you want to make it really circular, it is Frake who actually beat up his mum, Adric's mum.
Yeah, no, I think we'll
there
expand
we go.
I think we'll leave that one open and
Yeah,
if
sure,
you don't
okay,
mind,
yeah.
I think it's better to keep
it's
as
fine.
many, open strings as possible.
Yep, no problem.
But whether Frake is a poor man with a large family to feed that is slowly being crushed into oblivion by your, or whether he is an evil corporation trying to
Get this
starve
dastardly
the poor
thief
thieves of Duskfall is yet to be decided in this world. All right, Nick.
Yes, I am Tetch Colburn, but most people know me as Smokey, because of the gun smoke from my guns. I am in contrast to my brother, who is taller and more slender. I am a short, stocky man, with bright red hair, who usually is wearing like a pea coat and a Scovlin tam o' shanter.
All right.
And
You're saying words, but none of them make any sense to me. So,
well, tam o' shanter is a type of Scottish
What's that?
hat. It's
okay.
yep.
Yeah.
And
Does his hair come away with the hat? Like
A CU Jimmy hat.
it's bald, but apart from this ginger hair that peeks out from a cap that comes off of it.
What was the coat you said?
a pea coat, PEA. It's a kind of like a dock worker coat type deal.
Okay.
Cool.
I can actually share an image in the Discord in a second, but I'll finish my description first. I am known to play Eruvian 5-card poker at the Drunken Parrot pub, and my backstory is I was a Scovlin Marine. I was stationed on on this ship that my brother also happened to be on that got impounded. And now we are here. My friend is Steiner, an assassin, and we're kind of friendly rivals in the sense that we gamble together frequently. He's a frequent participant in the card games at the Drunken Parrot, but also we also tend to argue who's the better shot frequently, like good-naturedly.
So this who's the better shot doesn't descend to actually shooting people.
No, but we might occasionally throw a bottle out and out onto the water and try and shoot it while the waves are bobbing while we're definitely inebriated. And then my nemesis is Celine, who is a blue coat, who is determined to bring me in. Reasons we can leave open-ended for now.
Absolutely. All right. Cool. So, yeah.
Right. The other three of you have got names begin with S. So I might actually change my alias from.
Sorry, Adric Dunville.
No. Alias.
Alias.
Nickname. Sorry.
Sorry. Apologies.
Well, aliases, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I might change mine to Sand, as in someone with sand. So can we think of a crew name that's something to do with the letter S, or using the name S? But yeah. But, so I'm going to change it to sand. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we have our crew or proto crew assembled. It seems that the broken parrot pub is the
Drunken parrot, please.
drunken parrot pub.
Where it is, so I've actually gathered that.
Yeah, whereabouts is the Drunken Parrot pub?
I hadn't decided.
Well,
Well, it could be. It doesn't feel like it's a salubrious establishment, so we could probably eliminate some of the higher end areas.
Yeah, it is definitely not salubrious.
we've got a lot of
Crow's
gambling
Foot is a
going on.
kind of melting pot. It could be part of the docks. Crow's Foot, maybe
Where's that?
6 Towers. So Crow's Foot is probably the melting pot of all the crew, the gangs, and kind of is a bit of a it's a poor melting pot area of sort of criminal activity. The Silk Shore is, a little bit more refined, but still very much purveyors of pleasures of the flesh and drugs and things like that.
So Crow's Foot sounds.
Yeah, I
6
think Crow's
Towers
Foot sounds about right.
6 Towers is also not a salubrious area, and it's sort of the most haunted and ghostly part of the town. It would suit me, but I think Crowsfoot's probably the best.
Where can someone ping Crow's Foot on the map?
I'm looking for it now.
Yeah,
Here.
it's basically in the middle.
There.
Okay.
If you take a look at the player handout that is linked in the in the Blaze of Dark chat, it's got a high level map that's got these districts marked on it.
Okay.
There's a detailed map that Bruce has put up here. Is I assume Bruce put it up.
Yeah, it's not canon per se, and you can't see the details, which is somewhat deliberate in terms of street names and other bits and pieces. But Crow's Foot is so. So the bit at the top, Whitestone or White Crown, is the sprawling estates of the Lord Governor, the Hunter Commander, the Master Warden, and Duskfall Academy. So the bit at the top up here is pretty well to do. And so Brightstone, the grand mansions and luxury shops of the wealthy, is here. So this sort of area here is pretty wealthy. Charter Hall is kind of the government centre and it's like the old town of the city. Crow's Foot, we've just talked about. The docks, rough taverns, tattoo parlours is here. The Silk Shore, where your mother probably lives, still is here as the Red Lamp District and also the artistic community. 6 Towers, as Chris was saying, is a formerly well-to-do area that is now worn down and dilapidated, has more ghosts, and people have moved out. But yeah, I mean, Crow's Foot, it could be anywhere, to be honest.
I mean, this is just where this pub is. It's not necessarily we're going to set up a base, is it?
No. But it's quite nice to sort of start building the local area. This bridge here as well is quite interesting. That is the Cinder. Can't remember its name. Cinder Fall Bridge. But anyway, that bridge is kind of like London Bridge. Back in the day, it's like built up with multiple stories of houses, and your pub could actually be on that bridge.
Pretty cool.
There's multiple story houses between Crow's Foot and Silk Shore.
It looks like this is called Taffeta Bridge.
Taffeta Bridge, yeah.
Yeah, and just note also this Tangled Town down here is a
Yes.
mass of old ships and rafts and things. All linked together
Cinder
in
Bridge. Cinder Bridge is here. So all these bridges that you see, this is very much like Venice or maybe even Amsterdam, something like that, Prague. Lots of canals, waterways, and these bridges, every single square foot of the place is going to be built up. It's going to be 4, 5, 6 stories tall, especially in the poorer areas.
So the bridges are almost like roads over the water with
yes,
buildings above.
Yeah, imagine those sort of Elizabethan bridges where they were just building houses on them.
Well, Why do we? Should we
in
say
London.
this Drunken Parrot pub is on a bridge somewhere? I love that as an idea.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Why don't we make it Taffeta Bridge between
Yeah.
Silkshore and the Crow's Foot?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Now, given that this place has got poker gambling and also fighting pits, potentially other pursuits, and it's quite good that it's in Silkshore, or close to the Silkshore, it's going to be a relatively big place as well. It's not going to be a small establishment. It's going to have a bit of heft to it. So it's going to get busy, and it's going to be a pretty rowdy place, I suspect, by the end of the evening.
Oh, yeah.
Now, normally, if we had created crews, we would have sort of positive and negative factions. I think we've got to come up with some sort of story whereby you have come together as a group, probably because you all frequent the Drunken Parrot pub and have probably talked about breaking free from the shackles, that money is tight, that you're all probably borderline, on the poverty line, and that making your living individually is proving to be difficult by the time that you've paid for all of your various expenses and paid the bribes and kickbacks to all the people, protection money and everything else. There's not much really money left over. So have you all got sort of ideas in the back of your mind? Is it all just money that drives your characters? Don't have to answer this necessarily. To become criminal? Or is it some deeper motivation? Ian, I could see, for example, with Smiler, that there might be a deeper motivation there to take revenge on the person that beat up your mum. Maybe that he's an important person in the city, and you need a little bit of juice in order to get back at him.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, definitely.
That would certainly be a motivator to move up the criminal ranks to form a gang. And of course, working together is better than working individually. What I'm going to do, and how we would typically start this, is we could either take the default strategy, which is in the Crow's Foot, there is a turf war going on between three particular gangs, and we can throw you into the middle of it. So this game really favors limited planning. I cut myself off. There we go. Limited sort of planning and getting stuck in media res and getting into the action immediately. Or we could pick a couple of factions that we would like to be fighting. I think in this particular case, actually using the standard factions that are here would probably make some sort of sense, just because it's going to be easier to bootstrap the story. Unless Chris or somebody who may have played this already has got an objection.
You're muted, Chris.
No objection. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. So there are about 30 odd factions in the game, give or take, but we're going to focus the conversation today, or at least this opening sequence, on three factions who are all vying for control of the Crow's Foot area. There is, and for example, each faction has got its own goals and its sort of strength tiers, if you like, and a little bit of details about it. So if you ever want to know a little bit more detail, then we can. So the Crows are a tier 2 gang, so pretty small on this 0 to 6, 1 6. It's an old gang with new leadership, known for running illegal games of chance and extortion rackets. Claims all of Crow's Foot as their turf. Everyone in the district pays up the chain to them. Now, they are currently in a fight with another faction called the Red Sashes, I believe. Let's have a quick look.
That's them, yes. I remember them well.
Let's have a quick gander. There'll be a brief pause while I find the relevant situation. All right.
just while Bruce is looking at that.
Talk amongst yourself.
The what Bruce was just saying about why you want to be a sort of a criminal. I think my character Sand is more, he misses the comradeship of being in a military unit and having some people he can rely on, and so he's looking for sort of that sort of level of comradeship again, people he can trust. And if that's doing something criminal, fair enough, he's not bothered either way. So the criminal bit is almost sort of secondary, though the money is always nice.
I think we're obviously refugees from Scotland, and I think we have, because of that, simply we have a hard time in the city. Normal job opportunities don't necessarily go. A lot of places don't let Scotlanders even in. And the general level of mistrust because of the war and everything. So turning to crime really has been one of the only ways that we can reliably get anywhere. I think that will get used as very cheap labour.
Yeah.
All right. The Crow's Foot is a hive of scum and villainy as far as Duskfall is concerned. It contains all sorts of criminal elements. The Crows, a mid-level criminal gang, have been running the Crow's Foot for a long time now. Rurik, the ward boss who ran the criminal operations, has been killed. Some people say that it was his second in command, Lycia, who did it. She now controls Rurik's impressive gang of cutthroats who call themselves the Crows, but can she re-establish dominance over the district? While he died, the peace brokered between other enemy gangs inside the Crow's Foot has collapsed and fallen apart. The Lamp Blacks, who are an interesting little faction, former Lamplighter Guild, turned to crime when their services were replaced by electric lights. So one of the marvelous benefits of the electroplasmic revolution, technology revolution, is that coal, oil, and candles, although still widely used by the poorer people, in many places have been replaced by electric or equivalent lighting. And so the Lamp Blacks used to be employed by the government, but now have turned to crime to make up their life. And then the red sashes. Now the red sashes are originally a school of ancient Eruvian sword arts, but has since expanded themselves into criminal endeavors. They are well known for their martial prowess. What we are going to do as these three gangs and the Crow's Foot has broken out into open war and will be discussed, will probably be one of the major discussion points in the Drunken Parrot. And the rumors are swirling about who killed what and who didn't kill what. Who might have a relationship with any of those factions?
I might have a relationship with all of them.
Indeed. Probably.
Given what I've described, most likely the Lamp Blacks or the Crows themselves.
Okay, I think maybe.
I see that the Red Sash Sword Academy is actually there on the map.
Yeah.
There's actually
They don't sound like my sort of people.
There's also the Lamp Black warehouse I've spotted as well.
Yep.
Just to the left.
Yep. I mean, these are all. This map is non-canon, but we can use it for a shortcut. That is fine. Don't pay too much attention to the map, but I'm very happy for it to be the case as well. I've always thought of the city being slightly larger than this as well in terms of, but that academy is pretty big. And that crow's nest in the middle is an old blue coat watchtower that has been long abandoned and then repurposed by the Crows as their headquarters. So you'd have relationships potentially with the Lamp Blacks or the Crows. Would that be a positive relationship or a negative relationship? Are they chasing you off their turf, or are you trying to get into their good graces?
We're trying to get into their good graces. Probably positive with one and negative with the other, I would expect.
Okay.
If
Do you want to make a choice? Do you want me to roll for it?
Anyone have a preference?
No, not really.
Happy to go with whatever you feel is right.
In fairness, the Lamp Black sounds more like general crime, whereas the Crows are more extortion and dodgy games of chance. I think if Adric had anything, it would be the Lamp Blacks. If he had a loyalty to any of them, maybe the Lamp Blacks.
Okay, so it sounds like it makes more sense perhaps that I've maybe done a little bit of work for them in the past, and because of that mild association, then we've...
Yep.
Is that enough?
Okay, and yeah. Andy, your character, would he have had any dealings with any of these
Well,
factions? Do you need a little bit more information?
no. Well, just is it worth tying the dangerous friend who I have a bad relationship in with a gang that we don't want to be friendly with?
Yes, I like that idea.
So he's a pugilist, but he's also ex-Imperial military like me.
Okay.
Who do we want to have a bad relationship with? Is it the Crow?
Well, I think
Crows.
starting, he wouldn't have worked with the Lamp Blacks, although they might be hiring out of the Lamp Blacks now that that's kind of gone by the wayside. It would have happened a little while ago. So the Crows maybe would be hiring people from ex-military for all sorts of things.
So Marley has worked for the Crows. I like the character sheet. You can just add notes to people as you go.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. So we are going to start the game in the middle of action immediately. Now, if there's anything that you want to set up from the previous time, you can use flashbacks to sort of establish maybe a meeting in the pub or a discussion later on. But you have been summoned into the cramped office of the Lamp Black's leader, Bazo Baz, overlooking a coal warehouse floor below. Several of his thugs hang about, armed for war, sizing you up. Bazo wants your answer. Are you with them or are you against them in the upcoming fight with the Crows? They're recruiting heavily and they want to know whether you're for or against them. Now, the way this game works and the way that we dive into the action here is we figure out who might be the front man, who might be confronting Bazo.
Be honestly,
the Lamp Black's leader. It could be any of you.
I mean,
if it's sort of getting involved in a fight, is that one?
It could be anything. It's not going to be a fight necessarily. It could be a negotiation. It could be anything at this point. We don't know.
Well, you said they're recruiting. They're not necessarily recruiting troops for people for fighting. They're recruiting people for various jobs.
They might want you to do a job.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah.
All right. I'll say to him, I got no love for the Crows, and doubly so for the Red Sash.
Yeah, neither have we. It's been pretty tough out there. The Crows, they're headless at the moment. We're going to go for the kill.
Not knowingly.
What we need, good people like you, to help us.
Glance at my brother.
you can see lampblacks around the coal warehouse. They are nervous. They're fingering their weapons. They're sort of got their weapons drawn. It looks like they are on edge, maybe anticipating an attack, maybe worried about something, or maybe getting ready, tooling up and getting ready to go out and do some pretty serious damage to the crows. You glance at your brother. What does your brother say?
Well, whatever you decide, just tell me where to point me where to shoot, and I shall do so.
I'm not hearing any arguments, so yeah, Bazo. I think. Have you got anything you need done?
Yeah, we've located one of the crows' stashes where they keep some of their illicit goods that they're going to sell on and make some money. We want you to sabotage it, make it go away. Think you can do that?
Reckon so. Glance at
I
Andy's
nod.
character, whose name I've forgotten.
Sand. I nod.
Ian?
Well, Smiler's just a bit quiet, standing in the back behind. Everyone's a good 3 or 4 inches taller than him, and he's just sort of sitting back and, well, perhaps not. Sorry, I can't remember Nick's character's name. He's maybe short as well, wasn't he? But
Yeah, Tetch, also known
Tetch.
as Smokey.
He'll say, beyond our continued good health, what's in it for us?
Oh, I like it. The upstart asking what he's going to get paid before he's even done the job. You'll go far around here. Yeah, good shout. Well, look, you'll have my eternal gratitude.
You tell me where I can spend that.
You're a cheeky little bugger. All right. Well, what do you want? You want coin? Which is the sort of currency, if you like, within the game.
Coin's good. That puts food on the table.
So how this would work is you'll get, if you do this sort of publicly and messily, you'll get rep, and that rep would then mean that the street would know your name, that you would be starting to build a reputation for yourself. You might even pick up a name from this job. A bit of coin as well would help seed the potential options to sort of maybe buy a layer or start your criminal enterprises. Or you could ask for maybe a bit of turf that you might then decide, but we haven't really decided what your crew is all about at the moment. So understanding what your turf might be, you're not trying to sell anything, maybe. So at this point, I just think hard cash and the knowledge that you're going to be in the Lampblack's good graces and build up a little bit of reputation are going to be, reasonable.
But also, we're going to be in the bad graces for the crows as well. So,
Well, easy come, easy go.
Look, that's what guns is for.
All right. Well, there are 4 of you. I think I could see my way to giving you 4 coin.
4 coin each sounds very generous.
Yeah, he does that laugh. Yeah, he does that laugh from Nick. I like that. Yeah, no, he just laughs in your face. Nah, 4 coin for the group. We've got a few others. We've got to pay quite a few people to stir up trouble with the crows. You're not the only people working for us.
Okay, so where's this?
Not made of money.
Where's this stash then?
All right. Yeah, nods. Good. This stash is just off Devilfish Canal. Oh, Tangleton. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. It's just off Devilfish Canal in Fisher Court. We've seen a bunch of crows going in and out of that place. We're not sure what's in there, but enterprising people like you can find out the details. What we want is the crows to know that they've been hit by the lampblacks and hit hard. Show us what you got. All right, you have plenty of contacts that you have available, not just the people that you have on your character sheets, that you can begin to find more information about this, and we can define what this this job is. What is in the stash, for example?
Well, that's
what
the
are they
sort of thing
actually
where I
running in
start
and
to-
out?
Where I start to work my contacts. I think this is my thing.
Absolutely.
I can sort. So I will start. I'll immediately send about hitting local taverns and things like that, and discreetly asking my contacts what in the Scoville community what's going on around Fisher Court.
I'm probably going to scout the location itself. Since that is what my skills are oriented to, I will find a good
Okay.
perch to stake out the joint, as it were.
Yeah, okay, I like that. So, Ian and Andy, you going to support your two friends in that, or are you going to be doing something different?
Edric will probably want to also go to the site. He's a mix of both. He has a number of contacts, but they're street contacts. They're not in organisations. They're, the street urchins, the pickpockets, the beggars, those sort of people that might have some information about people coming and going and who they've seen.
You could certainly tap up your beggar network.
Yeah, and wants to scope the site himself as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that case, I shall back up Shifty, which is Chris's character. I've edited the character names so they've all got got your character name after player name on the list. The roll.
Very good.
List.
All right, we're going to play until 1:15.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That's it. Dice rolls in.
I think it would be good to get some dice rolls in, and then we can maybe make the dice roll for the sort of starting point of the score and see where we go from there. All right, so Chris, you're going to gather some information.
So I'm going to use my consort to spend a little bit of trivial amount of coin, I expect, given that I haven't got any. But I'm going to make my way around local taverns, around Silkshaw and Crowsfoot, and try and find ask people. This is a general thing. Find out a lot about what's going on in this conflict, but I'll always try and steer the conversation subtly around to what's happening around Fisher Court. Devil's Furnace.
Now, can I assist in this at all?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So consort is quite an interesting one. So consort is much more about getting up close and personal with people. It's very sort of, in fact, let's have a read and see what the summary says. That doesn't say much.
The summary says, sorry,
Sway is more sort of talking to your consort is much more like a consort, an escort, a kind of, getting a little bit more.
This is the thing that Spider gets two in. So I thought it was more about connections with your heritage, background, and friends and rivals to gain access to resources, information, people, and places, rather than being a consort.
Yeah. Let's have a look. So when you consort, you socialize with friends and contacts. You may gain access to resources, information, people, make a good impression. So yeah, you're basically associating with friends and contacts, but in a much more kind of like friendly, environmental way. You're with friends, drinking, or kind of having chat with, socializing, rather than say trying to manipulate people or sway them in a more sort of manipulative way.
Yeah. It's yes. Shall I roll it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So can I? So is there a mechanic for me assisting? Because I have a point in consort as well.
Yes, there is.
Right, there is, but costs you a point of stress to help. That's right, isn't it?
So there's two ways. There's three ways that you could help as a team. Where first you can just take a straight stress, and you can give Chris' character Shifty a dice in his dice roll, and that's not an insignificant thing. You could lead as a group, so each team member makes an action roll, counting the best result, and then the leader takes one stress for each result that's a 1, 2, or a 3 on the dice rolls. So really, that would be like you all go off and gather information, and the lead, or maybe where a leader directs a group of people towards a dedicated goal. You take the best result out of that, but the leader takes a bunch of stress for organising people.
It's
Probably
very
not
good for
relevant here.
things like group stealth tests, for instance, where one person, the stealthiest person in the group, is the leader, and then all the clumsy people who fail then give him stress.
Like it.
Yeah, it's quite a clever little mechanic. You can obviously protect somebody to suffer consequences, effectively throw yourself in the way of something, or you can help them set up something. So you can perform a setup action, and that's either going to help his effort level or improve the position of their roll. So effectively, you take an initial dice roll, probably even potentially as a flashback, where you're kind of helping him set up the role. You might, in this particular case, if he's meeting with friends, you might make sure that there's lots of party food available, or a really nice place to eat or drink or meet, or whatever you might think, how you might set up an information gathering role.
Could I be introducing some extra people?
It's possibly it could be doing that actually, because we come from very different backgrounds.
Yeah,
absolutely. You might have a number of different contacts that are in the Crowsfoot area. Absolutely.
Okay. So, do I roll? How's it work?
So we're going to make your roll. We'll see if you get a success. There are additional consequences that might happen to you because you're taking a more defined role, if you like, or as you say, you can just take one stress and give him a dice and just say you're helping him in the background.
I'm just going to roll. So I think I just click on my consort skill, do I?
No. We'll take this through. So you need to state your goal. So you're going to introduce him to some brand new contacts, right?
Yep.
You're going to choose your action rating. So you're going to do that with. How are you going to achieve that? You said consort?
My consort skill, yes.
Yeah, you can do that for sure. Okay, so you gather 1 dice so far for that consort roll. I'm going to set your position. Generally, the position by default is risky. If it's controlled, i.e. you're totally in control of the situation, then it's better. You're not desperate in this particular case, so it's a controlled situation. So it's a risky situation. There is some element of risk. You might come across somebody from the Crowsfoot, something like that. The quality and the effect, I think, will be default. As far as I can tell, you don't have any particular advantages or disadvantages in this particular case.
Nope.
Don't have any particular items. So at the moment, you've got 1 dice.
Okay.
If you roll a 1, 2, or a 3, then you're going to suffer a complication and be of no help to anybody.
Yep.
If you roll a 4 or a 5, you're going to do it and suffer a consequence as well. So you'll successfully help him and improve his position or the effect of his roll. On a 6, you do it. And if you had multiple 6s, then you would have an increased effect. You can buy yourself additional bonus dice by pushing yourself. So you could spend a stress and get an extra dice.
2 stress.
2 stress and get a bonus dice. Or you can take a devil's bargain. So devil's bargain is could be proposed by me or anybody else. You'd get an extra dice for that. But essentially is going to be a guaranteed negative event for an extra +1 dice.
Okay.
So the game.
Sorry, go on.
I would say the game is predicated on the fact that even if you have no skill in something whatsoever, you can always get 2 dice. One from pushing the situation, and one for the devil's bargain.
Okay.
Even if you don't know what you're doing.
I'm just going to do a straight roll.
You're going to do a straight roll for 1 dice.
Yep.
Okay.
And you said it's risky.
Yep.
Effect is standard. Bonus dice is 0. Sorry, it's all. So I just failed.
What did you roll?
2.
So you rolled a 2. Okay. So you're not going to help. I've got to get this right now. Shifty. You haven't been able to help Shifty at all, and you've come across a consequence. So the GM would look at the potential options available. So consequences could be a reduced effect, a worse position, a lost opportunity. It could start a clock, for example. You could get a bit of heat. Maybe you've attracted some attention from the blue coats, or you could take a little bit of harm. Now, my natural inclination here is to think about like positions and effects and all the rest of it. But I think either you might have attracted the attention of the crows, and we could start a clock saying that they are aware of the fact that you are now working for the Lampblacks and are taking an interest, and that starts a progress clock. Has everybody come across progress clocks as a concept?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the crows beginning to turn their attention on you, or maybe you got into a scuffle and took a point of a little bit of harm, if you like, a bit of physical beating or something like that. Maybe you were talking with a few friends. So I think that you were.
I quite like the idea of a progress of a clock.
Yeah.
I would just tweak it slightly. That not that they know we're working for the Lampblacks, but just we're asking questions about them, and who are we working for is unknown.
Yeah. I'm attracting their attention.
Okay.
Ripples in the water are starting to reach them.
Right.
So
start to reach them.
You've been cruising the pubs and the taverns and the gambling establishments, or maybe the pugilist establishments. Tell me. I mean, would you be cruising the fighting establishments, pubs? Where would you be?
Well, I think we're cruising,
tapping up old contacts.
Whatever's around. I mean, we're probably in the Devil's Furnace area, aren't we? Because we're trying to find out what's going on in Fisher's Court. So,
you were trying to reach out to your contacts to sort of help.
Yeah.
Smiley. So
that's
were you
right.
reaching out to ex-military, maybe, or?
Yeah, I mean, but probably in the Devil's Furnace area is
sure
people who live and drink around that area.
All right, so you're sort of you're tapping up people that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while, and as you're kind of going around the crow's foot area in that particular area, you see signs that the area is there's serious tension going on in the area. People are very furtive. They know that there is a gang war breaking out. Doors that would have normally been open, maybe people would have invited you in for a drink, are sort of shut in your face. There are lots of people on the corners of the side streets looking at you strangely, and as you're getting nowhere and being maybe, I don't know, how does that affect your character? Are they frustrated by this, or just resigned to the fact? Do they lose their temper? Do they get angry? How are they emotionally affected by this kind of rejection from maybe not good friends, but past acquaintances?
Frustration, but also a bit slightly not quite. I suppose actually embarrassed, because I thought I was going to get Shifty, be able to help Shifty, and I've actually possibly been a bit of a hindrance.
Yes, indeed. All right, so I'm going to start a progress clock with 4 ticks on it, and we'll tick one off. Say that the crows seen you about the place and are wondering what you're all about. You've been asking a few questions.
Mm-hmm. Being nosy.
So, all right, Chris, I think we'll do your dice roll, and then we'll call it.
So I'm also traveling around with sand. I was written everyone's names. Could everyone perhaps put their character names like I have done in the character portraits? That makes it easier to get used to it. So I'm also going around. I'm perhaps hitting dive bars, soup kitchens, bunkhouses, things like that, to talk to Scovelanders and other criminal undesirables that I've dealt with in the past.
All right.
Again,
Scovelanders are sort of scattered throughout the Crow, and there's no sort of like enclaves of them, so they're well established in the area.
Yeah. I'm likely also to probably venture across the bridge down to Char Hollow as well, which is probably where I live.
Okay. That's fair enough.
That's the cheapest part of the city, isn't it?
Yeah, you're really looking for information about this cache of this sort of.
I see what you mean about wanting the city to be bigger, because the way this presents it's only a few blocks across each one. Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah, okay.
I felt it's a bigger place just because it feels like you don't have to be too specific about what's going on. You've got more room to kind of breathe and do what you need to do.
Right. Anyway, okay, consort.
So I think you're going to end up in some sort of Scovelander dive hole somewhere. Would it be a pub or an inn, or maybe maybe a soup kitchen?
Or dive pub.
Yeah, dive pub.
Sells the cheapest mushroom rock gut
that goes around, and for food, surprise loaf. You're never quite sure what's in it.
I love surprise loaf.
That's cheap.
Everyone loves a good surprise loaf.
Yep, never quite sure.
Okay, so risky again?
Definitely risky. I think a standard effect. You're going to use your consort. You're going to push your dice roll or take a devil's bargain.
Not at this point, I don't think.
Okay, so just a straight two dice.
Partial success.
A partial success. So you will have succeeded and gotten some information about this Crow stash. I think some useful information as well.
But that clock you just started has gone up one as well.
Okay, yes. Okay, so the Crows have got their hands in all sorts of. Their eyes and ears are out listening for potentials. So that ticks another tick, 2 out of 4. All right. This stash that the Crows and a bit of information about this situation, and then we'll wrap it there. A few minutes over, I'm afraid to say. Apologies for that. Let's have a look at the Crows. Now, what do we think this stash might be? The Crows are known for pretty much doing all sorts. They operate gambling dens and extortion rackets. Gambling dens and extortion rackets. Okay. So this place. Okay, so this place that you are going to raid in Devil's Fish. What do you want to know? What type of information do you want?
If you can find out what sort of thing it's being used for.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a stash supposedly. So what is it? Is it surrounded by lots and lots of heavily armed guards, or is it just locked up tight as a drum? Does it have people going in and out all the time? That sort of thing,
Sure. I think we'll say that this stash is used as a storage area for all of the things that you might have in a gambling den. So you've got wines, cap wines, foods, supplies, high value items, not your basic stuff, but the high value items that you might sell people in the gambling den as they're kind of gambling away their fortunes. So all the drinks,
like fine cigars.
Yeah, I like it. Sort of
drugs.
Oh yeah,
maybe some low-level drugs. Yeah, so obviously with cigars, fine wines. Yeah, I like it. Drugs. So maybe some mushrooms. Nothing too heavy, nothing too serious, but necessary to run a gambling den. I'll give you 2 other questions on that roll. Two other pieces of information that you might want. Ask me some questions.
Okay. How often are people going in and out?
That is a good question. Pretty infrequently, actually. With the current situation as it is, they're doing much bigger, but and more guarded sort of shipments. I mean, before all this sort of trouble kicked off, they were probably running errands backwards and forwards from there to their gambling den quite frequently. But at the moment, it's once a day. Well, in Duskfall, once a night.
Is the whole of the Fisher Court building, the way it's depicted here, is that it's a sort of courtyard with a square courtyard with buildings around it. Is that all lamp black offices / warehouses?
In the Fisher Court area?
Yeah.
No, there'll be the crows.
Not lamp black, I mean crows, sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's a sort of crow controlled
bit of a crow stronghold.
Yeah. Okay. Not necessarily stronghold, but it's definitely their claimed turf for sure. All right.
Okay, that's 3 questions.
We're going to leave it there, but we're going to start the next session right in the action of you kind of. We'll do Ian and Nick's characters next session, and then we'll dive right into the action where you're actually executing a plan to deal with this stash of goods.
Sounds good.
We won't muck about too much with setup.
Brilliant.
All right.
Okay. Thanks to everyone watching. I shall stop recording. Bye for now.
Got some good characters there.
Bye for now.